Hi, welcome to the Sustainomics. We're joined right now by Mr. Shyak Mazumar, co-founder, CEO and CTO of Adya AI. Nice to have you here.
Pleasure.
You've argued that the real value in AI lies not in building agents, but in enabling others to build them. How does Adya AI empower small businesses and developers to become creators themselves?
Right. So I think I'm going to go a little long on this in the sense that most people don't understand what agents are truly capable of doing. Agents are nearly human-like in capability in terms of intelligence, accessing tools, the internet, finding information, and then getting things done. However, most of the times we confuse two things with agents. We confuse large language models and workflows with agents. They're not the same. Large language models natively can do a lot of things, right? And especially because nowadays you have certain kinds of large language models which are capable of thinking. They're called large reasoning models. And then you have some kinds of models which are called agentic. That means those models can not just think, they can go to the internet, find information and do it. But the difficulty in directly using them is that those models in particular, when they go to the internet, they burn a lot of tokens. So they actually are burning a lot of money every time figuring the same thing out that has been figured out a million times by a million other people. So agentic actually works this way, that I call it an MBA, memory, brain and action. So what you do is you create an architecture in a way that you put some guardrails around it that don't go outside this, but within this you're allowed to think. You're allowed to access all kinds of system memories, policies, you're allowed to access all kinds of tools and get this done for me. Now, for example, I want to decide who to promote, or I want to decide whether the leave policy is right, or I want to decide, the OKRs or the KPIs of people. Now, all of this could be done by agents if I gave the agent a guardrail and said, okay, look, these are the regulations of India. Within these guardrails, what would be the best way? This is what we do. How do we improve on this? So now, where we are headed as an industry is we have a lot of people who are building workflows imagining those are agents, and that's a problem because workflows are deterministic in nature. They do just one thing and then they can't do anything beyond that. So they don't have the ability to actually think. So when you're building out a particular agent and you have something, it is very zamindari in context, which means that here's my land, come use my land and pay me for it. So that's zamindari. Whereas what works a lot better is if you can create an AI which I can go talk to and say, look, this is my problem. Can you build out an agent for me? And that system should be able to build out that entire thing by orchestrating all my tools, all my requirements, my access classes, my governance protocols, my communication channels, my databases, and create the whole system for me. Now that would be magic, AI creating AI. And that is what I feel is where we are headed as a future, unlike today where it is more rent-seeking in nature.
Definitely. And I think the key word you've used here is guardrails.
Yes.
That's, I think, where people should be most careful. The use
Not
of
just guardrails. I think we miss the word guardrails. Guardrails, we think from a human perspective is, I've told it to do this, it should do this. But actually speaking,
So it's a protection of data as well.
yes, because you need governance protocols and not just guardrails. The reason is these models do not output the exact same thing even if you set the temperature to 0. That means that because there are floating point numbers to the 16th decimal, so every second time when you try to generate the same thing using the exact same requirements, it will generate something that is slightly different. Now compound this over 100 things that it is doing, the end result is like a Chinese whisper.
Yep.
It completely changes in nature compared to where it started from.
Exactly.
So what you really need to understand is you can't actually treat it like an automation the way we used to. Rather, we should look at it as give it the ability to get to the result instead of telling it how to get to the result, and put the governance protocol saying that you cannot give access to this data, or you cannot look at this thing, or you cannot go to the internet to these kind of sites, because that's more important. And when you do that, a lot of people today are doing it using natural language. The problem is you cannot stop maths with language. And AI is maths behind the scenes. We don't realize it. We think it's human. It's not. It's actually mathematically programming it. Each token is a vector. So you need a new kind of protocol that will mathematically create these rules in order to mathematically cancel out the mistakes it's doing or prevent it from doing it. That is what is called an adaptive governance protocol.
I think that's very well put. The adaptive governance protocol, which is, I think, something people forget when you say, "Hi, chat, where can I go and have lunch?" Or shall I hire this guy, without really looking at it. How is AI value creative for businesses at different levels, do you think?
Again, we typically find today there's a missing middle, and the missing middle is there are all these technology companies and startups who are super excited. I'm going to build this technology and that technology without really understanding how the industry actually works and what their problem statements are or what their constraints are. Whereas on the other side, we see industry saying, "I've heard of AI. Make it do this for me." Now there's a problem. You don't exactly know what you want as industry or how to get it done. And the party that knows how to get it done doesn't exactly know what your problems are or what your constraints are. You have to match these two.
Yep.
And there is a genuine problem there. What that missing middle is, we need consultants, people who understand both sides and are able to match make. So this, in the world of technology, we used to call them solutions architects.
Right.
These solution specialists used to basically talk to the large enterprise, to this mid-sized business, to the small business, comprehend what they're saying in natural language, convert that into a technology architecture. But in the world of AI, you could get an AI to do this actually for you.
Yep.
That is called AI building AI. Now, if you could do that, now imagine, take this a couple of steps forward. Think of it like a benign version of what, let's say the Terminator movie is, where instead of churning out machines that are killing people, it's churning out the kind of software and the kind of stuff that is actually making our lives better.
Yeah.
So that's an AI that's building AI.
Yeah.
Now, if I could do that, I could go and talk to it and say, this is what it is. It could create out the entire solution for me. Now, if it could, then I could say, okay, these are my constraints, this is what I want to do. And then it could eventually use the underlying capabilities, workflows, models, and everything to get me to the end result. Now, that today is what we call the holy grail, or these are called super agents, right? Super agents are, and we've created one of the first super agents in the world ourselves. We've created adaptive governance protocols. It's a proprietary technology. We've created multi-agentic networks, etc. So we've been showcased recently by NVIDIA as one of the top AI companies in the world. But long story short, if you're able to create these super agents, what they're doing is underneath the hood, they're routing hundreds of LLMs. They're routing hundreds of tools, workflows, solutions. So they have an overall knowledge. They have the governance protocols. They have everything. So when you go and ask it, like, can you pay my taxes? Or can you go access Amazon and procure this for me? Or can you tell me what rate should I set for my room? All of this is possible. So it basically accesses the internet, trusted sources, creates the information, the analysis, and generates this for you. Now that is truly value accretive.
Yeah.
Because then I call it RICE: revenue, intelligence, cost, and efficiency. So in that order. So revenue is the highest order of value, followed by intelligence, followed by cost optimization, and then efficiency gains. Efficiency gains you could do simply by getting better people. You don't even need AI.
Yeah.
Cost you could by optimizing your financials, but you could also do by using AI, because what it does is it enhances human capability, taking away a lot of the work that we do today as brute force using humans. So you can get cost optimization. Intelligence, I mean, come on, that's where AI really shines. Goes to the internet, goes everywhere, finds out the best information. I'm telling you, I'm now building entire applications in less than a day, because I tell AI what I want and it builds it for me. So AI building AI is where we are headed, and that's where the value will get created.
That's fascinating. Thank you so much for your time.
No, my pleasure.
It's been one of the most interesting interviews we've had today. So thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.